Let us farm. Um, Sorry for being a little bit late today. I had some challenges trying to resolve some issues from the farm as I had an urgent pressing need to attend to in the farm. So, welcome once again to Let Us Farm. In case that this is your first time of joining me on my live program like this is Let Us Farm. If you are joining me from TikTok, I'm today live on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. So we're doing everything simultaneously. So what we do here is we try to discuss everything about catfish farming, how to make money from catfish farming, from your farming to your selling. Then you can ask me any question you have pertaining anything on this catfish farming, and I will be able to answer you live on this program. You see, I have not been chance to do the program in a couple, I think last 2 months because I was very, very, very engaged. So I just decided that today let us, try and do something so that we can all be on the same page. So sorry for the delays and thank you once for being here with me on this program. Hello, good evening. Good evening, good evening. I thank you so much. So let us jump in on this today. Remember, if you have any question, drop the question. I will see it live and I'll be able to answer you live and direct. So I won't waste your time. I have many questions that I just saw now on my youth um on my WhatsApp. Unfortunately, I can't go back to start checking those things. So I'll answer you later, maybe after this. So the first question here is saying my fishes are not eating well. I think it's the weather. Anyway, let me clear something for you about fishes not eating well and the weather. Let's be, if you know me very well on this particular journey, you know that one thing I do is that I don't paint words. So, in as much as I want everybody to be happy, I have to tell you the truth. If you don't like it, well, we can't change that situation. So now, you said your catfishes are not eating well due to the weather. May I quickly tell you that in hot season, your catfishes eat more than your raining season. Now, in raining season, your catfishes eat more than in your cold season. So people that have problem of their catfishes not eating well are people that are always in the very cold weathered places like Plateau and all those areas. But if you are in the places that are not in that particular category, that's not why your fishes are not eating well. As a matter of fact, the weather we have now is even best for fishes because now you have your rain, you have your sunshine. So these two things makes it possible that they are always in good condition. I just have to say this for you to understand. So if you actually have a scenario where your fishes are not eating very well, one of the main problem why they may not be eating very well is that you probably must have overstocked your fishes. Now the next argument will be, oh, but they were eating very well before, but all of a sudden they stopped. What you should understand about overstocking is that the first time you put them in a pond and they look to you that they are so small, it's not a problem. But as they kept getting older by the age and by the size, they keep on increasing the number of waste they dump into this water you call pond. And when this thing gets to a level that they can't take it, even if you're looking at the fishes that they are small, then they have a problem. Because as they begin to eat very well, it means that their waste product starts to increase in the number that you usually see before. And this is part of the reasons why, the accumulation of these things now get to that level where it can no longer be habitable to those fishes the way they used to be at the beginning. Having said that, this could be one of the reasons out of other reasons. Then another reason could be the way you manage your water situation. Now, I always say when you are on a surface pond here is talking about your tanks, your concrete pond, your trampoline pond. These things are surface pond. So when you are on surface pond, you should endeavor to change the water in that pond at least every 2 days. So every 2 days, when you change the water, you give a new life to your fishes, and this keeps them in check. So these are mainly the two major things that can give a drop in the way your catfishes eat. Whenever anything happens, go and check these things and then be sure. Don't just conclude that it's the weather. You only conclude in the weather time. Most that, like I said, it happens mostly where you have very cold weather, like in the plateaus. So in those places, the weather there is very cold. So, but I did a video last time and I explained how to follow such situations. So what you do in such situations is that you do a reverse feeding approach. What it simply means is that if you are used to feeding by 8, don't feed by 8 again. Do a reverse. Now wait for the time that the sun is trying to come up. So by that time, the water starts getting a little bit warmed up. Feed your fishes by that time. They will be able to eat more. So don't feed anytime that the weather is very cold, so that many of your fishes will be actually pick up feeding. You see, why I'm trying, yeah, good evening, famous. Why I try to explain things like this is that I have noticed that most people believe in drugs to solve situations, but I can tell you 100% sure that drugs is not the major key to solving the problems in your catfish farming. No, drug is that is when every other situation have failed. That's when you start thinking about drugs. But unfortunately, because some of us have a little idea of poultry, and some other animal husbandry, so we believe that, oh, once there is an issue, it's drug. Catfishes predominantly don't need drugs. Like I said, one of the reasons why they don't need drugs is because of the place that they stay, which is water. Water happens to be the most purest place for anything to stay. So all you need to do is to make sure that the water that the catfishes live in conform with the cleanliness of the water situation. That is, making sure that the water is very clean. And your catfishes will not need drugs 99% of the time. But when you fail in that, that is what now triggers you to start looking for drugs everywhere. So now, if we understood this, then let us proceed with more. Like I said, if this is your first time of joining us on this live chat, all you need to do is, if you have any question and anything you want me to answer now, drop it. I pick it up from the comment section, and I will do justice to that. We can always chat now from anywhere you are watching and have any situation solved once and for all. So now, I want to quickly say this. If you must succeed in catfish farming, I'm just saying this not because there's anything, but I used to. The main reason for having Leros Farm is just to like help people not to do the same mistakes I did when I first started, and then be able to grow in this business. Like now we have everything on the net. But unfortunately, one of the basics of doing some of these businesses are not on the net, because mostly what you see on the net is, the net is a marketplace. So people try to like sell, advertise, and that's the main thing. So, but the main rudiments of the businesses, most of the times you will never see it there. I chose to do it on my evolution, not because of anybody. No. So now, what I'm going to say is, if you want to succeed in catfish farming, if you call catfish farming a business that you look up to, that, oh, you want to take to the next level, there are some certain things you must have to understand in catfish farming. One is your stocking. Two is, how do you manage this stock? Three is your sales point. You see, any of these three situations that you miss will make you to miss the next one, and make you to miss another one, and will lead you to failure. So you must have to understand these basic things in catfish farming. If you want to stock catfish, there is no rush. Cool down, settle down, try and not be biased. Most problem I see about catfish farmers is that you already have a mindset. You look at numbers. People assume that, oh, because catfish is cheap at buying a juvenile, Let me buy quantity and make so much money at the end of the production. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that in catfish farming. As a matter of fact, in catfish farming, when you do like that, most of the times you lose your investment because that's not how it works. I have said this many times. Catfishes are not sold by the number that you stock. They are sold by the weight of each of the catfish that you stock. So it doesn't matter how many number you stock, but what matters most is what is the weight gain you are leaving that production with. This is what gives you your financial breakthrough in catfish farming. So when I see people doing all kinds of things, thinking of manipulating the situation, I always ask myself, what is this person thinking? Do you actually believe that people before you, if they were doing like this, would you ever know that this business is existing? Now, don't take me wrong. The truth is that every year we have thousands of people enter catfish farming, and every year people leave catfish farming poorer than before they entered. I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm just saying it for you to understand the way this business works. Now, let us take it from the scratch. If you have an idea or you want to start catfish farming and you believe that catfish farming is that thing that you want to do, yes, you're hearing it from me. It is true. I've been in this business for more than 17 years. Now, it is true that catfish farming will take you to that level. But how do you start? First of all, it matters. The first thing you have to do, like I say it every time, is first of all, find out where you are. What do they buy? Do they actually buy big fishes or do they buy small fish? Now, in big fishes, any fish from 1 kg is regarded as big fish. But we have now very big fish. Like me, I sell mostly very big fish. Fishes, anything 1.2, 1.5, 2 kg, this is what I sell. Why? Most of my clientele, most of my customers is what they demand because most of them are big restaurant owners and things like that. So they like big fish. If you know anything about Southwest, Ondo State especially, they like to do these big, big things. Not just Ondo State, Ondo town. Although we say Egi. So the people that speak that language, what they like to do is big, big things. So they like it big. Because they like it big, this is where I have most of my customers. So therefore, I tailored my fish business to them. But when I started catfish without even knowing who are my customers. So the first set of my fish, I was just looking for buyers. So it was when these buyers were coming that they were not defining who exactly were my customers. But then I was lucky that when I started, I had people that I saw people that were selling fish, and I told them that please, I would have fish to sell. So they said they will come. But what I never asked them was what were they buying? That was my first error. So when they came, at the first time, I became at their mercy. I was now pleading with people, "Oh, buy this one." They said, please, does the type of pond, earthen pond, concrete pond, have anything with do with the rate of growth of your catfish? Now, before I proceed, that particular thing is what people use to confuse people to go into a lot of problem. Some people will tell you that the eating pond makes catfish sweet. Is a lie. Some people will tell you that eating pond makes catfish to grow faster. Is a lie. What happens is this because in eating pond, they have more space, they are bigger. So most times the fishes you stock in eating ponds are not overstocked. But I have seen people who overstock eating ponds and ended up with bad results. So that's the reason why you think that they actually grow more than the concrete pond. Because in concrete pond, you have high chances of overstocking. In tarpaulin pond, you have high chances of overstocking. In rubber tanks, you have high chances of overstocking. But when it gets to eating pond, because most of the eating ponds are very big, so you will not have that financial capability to stock the size of the eating pond. This thing I'm just telling you is a reality. So that's why when you now stock in the pond and you see that you stocked according to what that pond is supposed to take, you then have a better result than somebody who just have a small pond, overstocked it. You see? So definitely your result comes poor because you did not overstock your pond, but not because it's an eating pond. I even have a video that I did where I was explaining that there is no food in the eating pond, because I saw people that are selling some drugs and some of these things. They said when you put those things, it will make the food to grow in your eating pond and your catfishes will feed on it. It reduces the cost of production. That's a lie. And I gave a very little analogy to buttress my point. Why you should know is a lie. I said, if you put, let's assume it that I buy those things, I put it in the pond, and it makes some magic and things grow in the pond, and my fishes eat it today. Now ask yourself, that thing that the fishes eat today, is it going to grow back for them to eat it tomorrow? You see where the answer tells you that it cannot work like that. So definitely you will know that what they are trying to tell you is a lie. Because whatever they eat today cannot grow back tomorrow for them to eat it. Therefore, that statement that is a lie. So that particular question you asked, I think I have answered it. It's a lie. It doesn't have. There's nothing in your type of pond that makes your catfish grow better. But what makes your catfish grow better is if you follow the main principles of stocking, which means don't overstock your pond. Stock what you are supposed to stock in a particular pond. I said, if you cannot be able to understand what you're supposed to stock, simply send me a WhatsApp message. Tell me the length of your pond, as in length, then the width of your pond, and the depth of your pond, and I will be able to calculate it and tell you what you're supposed to stock in each pond. I think that has helped a lot of people. So, like I was saying, when you identify people that will buy your fishes and buy the size of fishes you produce, this will give you an idea of what sizes of fishes you want to produce. As a business person, you should always understand that if your sales point is not good, it means that whatever you did for your production is a waste. So now you have identified, okay, this is the size of fish I want to produce, and because I have people that want to buy it, they want to buy this size. This is where you now come to the point of, okay, how much do I even have to do this production? You now check the money that you have. When you say, oh, you know what, I can afford 500,000. Now the question is, the 500,000, is it included with the money for the pond? Then if it is not included in the money for the pond, good. If it's included for the money for the pond, remove whatever you want to use and buy pond. Then know how much is the remaining money that you have. That's when you now come up with the idea that, please, I have this amount of money. What can it do for me? Most people that have asked me this question, I always tell them that I give you a calculation up till 1 kg. So if it gets you to that point and you sell your fishes, you will make very reasonable profits. And I will give you that advice based on the size of pond that you have. Example, if you have money that can raise 1,000 fishes and the size of pond you have can only work for 200 fishes, I will give you an advice. And my advice is simple. You can, from that money of 1,000, go and buy another pond to make it 400 fishes. Automatically, the money you have for 1,000 would have dropped maybe to like 800 or like 700, depending on how much you buy the pond. They use it and do only that 400, because now the 400 can match in the pond. So the outcome of that particular production will now spur you up from doing more. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy you understood it. So if you have any other question, drop it. I will be able to answer you now. No problem. So when you now reduce it, it will now guide you to be able to go on with that size of pond. But the problem here is that most new catfish farmers, they do these imbalanced things. You have money that can raise 1,000 fishes, but you don't have a pond that can serve 500 fishes. You take that money and buy the 1,000 fishes and put inside the pond that cannot serve 500. Now, what you have done is that you used a gun and you shot yourself on the leg because you didn't have the money to feed 1,000. But the pond you have cannot. Now, when your fishes start having problems, they are now dying, and the death is as a result of overstocking. When I say, hey, you know that the solution to this problem is go and get another pond and divide the fishes, that's when you now hear people telling me, oh, is there no drugs that we can use? I don't have a budget for that. What do you want me to tell you? Absolute truth is that when it's a space problem, it's not a drug issue. It's not. That's the problem. Catfishes don't need drugs. They only need drugs when it gets to that extreme level that you've tried everything, it's not working. That's the only time you need drugs. But a situation that you are supposed to get a pond and you want to buy drugs don't solve space issues. Drugs will only solve, maybe they have some internal issues that are beyond what your contamination effect can stop. This is a very simple thing. So now, because of this imbalance, people lose money. But if you stock according to the pond, the money you have, and what that money can stock, if you stock it in that pond, there's no way you will not come out with a very laudable result. Now, another problem that most catfish farmers make, like I was telling somebody on Facebook, the person stocked fish, and at 3 months, when I looked at the fish, so I was telling the person that at 3 months, you are supposed to be on 3 feed. Seeing somebody now said, no, that these fishes I will eat 6 I said, thank you. But the guy that I talked to now said, oh, I understand you that he was going to do that. This is the problem. What you don't know, must you always want to argue? How can you give a fish of 3 months 6 The next point is that, oh, they can eat it. How do you know that they can eat it? And wait, is it because they can eat it is the reason why you are giving them the 6 Why not a small baby of 2 months? He has a big mouth. Start giving the baby very lump sum of fufu so that the child will be okay. After all, the mouth can take fufu. This is the problem we have. And this is why majority of the catfish farmers fail. Now, one secret is that we all understand 2 is more expensive than 4 but most people don't know why this happens. When I started catfish farming, I don't even know why. So that time, I still want to do the same thing. So after 3 weeks after 3 weeks, I want to switch to 4 which was cheaper. But later on, I discovered that I was wasting my time. Now, let me tell you why you're wasting your time. When you give these fishes 6 at 3 months, they will eat. But the problem is, most of them will not eat because most of them cannot take 6 The ones that will pick 6 what's going to happen is that their growth will not be what it's supposed to be at that time. When your fishes are smaller, they need more of the protein nutrients. Now, when you go and check your 2 you discover that 2 has more of protein nutrient than the 3 The 3 is supposed to have slightly more than the 4.5 4.5 is supposed to have more than the 6 From 6 watch what is happening in the feed. They increase the amount of fiber in the feed and reduce the protein. Because at that age, they are growing at a pace that they have gotten from when they were younger. So they are growing at that pace. But then they also require more energy to carry their body. And they require fiber for their skin. But then fish that requires more protein at 2 months, you are now giving it more fiber. Do you know what's going to happen? The fishes will be looking tough, but they will not give you that growth. So when you are about to sell your fishes, you see that most of them will be small compared to the number of ones that are big. When you finish making your sales, you don't make profits. And you keep on wondering, but I fed these fishes. This guy always say go and buy Nigerian feed. I bought Nigerian feed. I gave it to my fishes. So what's going on? You don't know that you are the one who is going on. Simple thing. When the fishes are growing, I have a video of this because I do videos for reference sake. It's not just about doing live programs like this, but I also do it in the videos and keep for reference play. So that when some people come and start asking, I just send you the video. Watch it and ask me any question from the video if you have any problem. Now, when you stock first time at juveniles, the food you are going to buy that time, my own recommendation, you may not like it, is go for your 1.8 mm. Sometimes the person that sold the fish to you may have told you that, you see, these fishes, they can pick 2 mm, they are ready to go. But I always advise, buy 1.8 mm and just feed them on 1.8 mm for at least 2 weeks. Reason for this advice is that time most of the fishes are trying to settle down. The person that sold it to you, by that time, will still be giving them 1.5 or 1.8 mm. When you switch feed like that, those ones that are very small may not be able to pick the feed. But when you now keep them on that 1.8 and stabilize them in 2 weeks' time, so most of them are now used to the new environment. The 1.8 will even help you to boost them within 2 weeks because it has more protein. So it gives them more growth. A growth index will be more than when it's on 2 mm. Then you go to 2 mm. Now, on your 2 mm, like me, personally, what I do, I use foreign feed. But then we have Nigerian feed, Nigerian produced feed that also have very good 2 mm. All you need to do is go and check the bag of nutritional content and you compare. So people will ask me now, oh, which one, which one, which one? Chris, good afternoon, Abi, good evening. People will ask me which one, which one, which one. But the issue is, I don't actually market any feed. But so far, so good. We have many good food. We have Top, we have Vital, we have Blue Crown, we have Echo. All these feed, they are good. These are Nigerian produced feed. But you have the foreign feed. You have Alakwa, you have skirting superior. Now, this skirting confuses people. We have two types of skirting. One is skirting superior, manufactured and imported into Nigeria. And the other one is skirting essential, done in Oshobo. It's still good, but for me, I use skirting superior. So you can use a foreign feed on the 2 mm. If it's too expensive, you can do it for another 2 weeks. Then you now switch to the Nigerian counterpart, which could be any of the feeds I've mentioned, Top and Co. Hey, good afternoon, Josh. Okay, Chris said 1 month of my catfish from fingerling should be weighing how many grams? This question depends on your feeding. If you watch the videos I have posted, I have seen somebody that 1 month from fingerlings is weighing 400 grams. You can be on 400 gram, you can be on 300 gram, it's all good. You understand? But when you are now below 100 grams, you have to step up in your feeding so that those ones can come up. But any of these ranges is still very okay. Like I said, at 3 months, those fishes are supposed to come up to 700 grams. Now, at 3.5 months, you now hit your 1 kg on some of the fishes. But that doesn't mean that all of them will be at 1 kg at 3.5 months. With good spacing, majority of them would be clocking 1 kg. You have between 800, 900 grams and 1 kg. That's why I said, if you want to sell on melons, once they are 3 months, they should go. Because at 3 months, most of your fishes should be at 700, 800 grams if they have good spacing and good feeding. Yeah. So moving on, like I said, so at this point, when you start with the 1.8 for 2 weeks, switch to your 2 mm, like what I do, I go to foreign, then sir, do you always have buyers for fish in Akure? The truth is that my buyers and they don't even live in Ondo. Most of them come outside Ondo, and I have in Ondo town. But most of those buyers will not come to your farm. The only way they come to your farm is that they must have bought fish from you before. So they now see the fish. They now say, "Oh, okay, this fish is what I can buy." If not, they will not come. You know what the transport expenses is saying now? But when I started like that, and I have buyers like that, what I was even contributing part of their money to come. But now nobody dare try it because you know what the money for fuel and all this thing costs. So it's a big challenge. So if before I used to have buyers in all war that I could actually send to Akure. But these days they will not agree to come, except there's a farm that they have gone before. If not lie, they will not agree to come. They will give you reasons that, oh, they don't want to go there, and then it's not easy. What are the steps to take before stocking into the 13 pond? Okay, I'll 1 second, I'll answer that question. So it's not, you don't understand what I'm saying. It's not because you have a large quantity of 5 tons. Buyers will only come if they are buying currently. I'm just telling you what is happening currently. But a place you can go in Akure now and ask. So when you go there, you can be able to get people that will come to your pond. Is go to, you know where they call old custom. That is old Akure Road. That custom building. There's somebody that sells fish feed there. Talk to the person. So when you talk to the person, it can give you contact of people within that area that could come and check out your farm. But what I'm telling you is the honest truth. I don't People that do that journey now, they will only come if they are used to your farm. If not, they will not come. And it is me that they will start asking me, why did you send people to me? So, but this one I have told you now, go and meet the person, and then he will be able to do something. Old custom house. The person sells feed there. So there used to be somebody there that also sells that also buys fish. Or talk to the person, he'll be able to give you, more contacts for that. So before stocking on earthen pond, what you have to do is to first of all demud the pond. What is demudding? Demudding is to remove the Yoruba calls it abata. That is the mud in the pond. Remove it. That's the remove it, and then get to the natural earthing of that pond. When you are doing it, you pump out. Then you have to work on your embankments. Embankments is the sandbag that you use to stack each of the pond so that it doesn't collapse inside. So when you finish this, you now buy your industrial line. Go to any place that they sell water treatment things. Tell them you want to buy industrial line. It's very common. They give it to you. So you put it in that pond, pour it in the pond, and allow the pond to rest between 3 and 7 days. After that, you are good to go. Mind you, anytime you are working on any new pond, please make sure that any day that your workers finish working and leave, I advise you to net that pond to avoid a situation that when they leave, you think that the pond is new. Some visitors will go and enter the pond. Now, something happened. Somebody just sent me a message this early morning, an old abandoned pond that they were trying to revive. So after pumping out the water, the guys were walking and they left. They came back, they now saw a big black snake hiding behind the sandbags. So now, if you want to work on an old abandoned pond, okay, what you have to do in that pond is first of all, pump out all the water in the pond. Next thing, cover that particular pond before people will go to demod the pond. It's in two ways. So either people first of all demod the pond. After demodding the pond, you cover the pond. If you have not put any sandbag, cover the pond. Next thing is go and buy this what we call phosphocene. Phosphocene is a poisonous tablet used in storage in agric farming. It's legal. It's not an illegal. Yeah, it is poisonous because you don't take it, but we use it for preservation, and it smells badly. It smells like carbon. If you put phosphocene here and rats eat it, is on the spot the thing will die. This is just truth. So what you get the phosphocene and pour it inside that pond. So when you put phosphocene inside the pond, what happens is that it will kill anything living in that pond. Reason is an abandoned pond can be a habitat for snake, can be a habitat for maybe crocs, anything can live inside that pond. And unfortunately, if there was sandbag in the pond, that's the normal sandbag you do in the pond. If you do not kill what is living inside there, those things like what the guy told me today, the thing may be living behind those sandbags. Yeah, it will be living behind the sandbag. So when you walk on the main pond, go, the thing will still be behind the sandbag. Then when you now stock fish, they come and use your fish for crayfish at night, and that's a very terrible and ridiculous thing to happen to anybody. So, like I said, abandoned pond, you want to revive it, all you can do, reduce the water, buy phosphosin, pour phosphosin inside that particular pond, net the pond, allow it for like 3 days. By 3 days, come there, pump out all the water. Your guys will enter inside the pond, demod the pond. After that, you do your sandbagging. Then each day you are leaving, always cover the pond. Then come again, pump out all the water, put the industrial lime, allow it to stay inside the pond for like 3 to 7 days. After that, fresh water will come up and then you are good to go. Okay? So, like I was saying, after 2 weeks of your 1.8, then you now move to your foreign. I use foreign, so you can use foreign for 2 weeks. If you don't want to use foreign, you can actually stick on Nigerian company produced feed. I have tried it, it works perfectly. So it depends. Can you check any of the Nigerian produced feed that it's okay for you? Remember, not all Nigerian produced feed are the best, because we have some individually produced feed and they actually sell it out as their own production and all stuff like that. Do you train on feed production, feed? Actually, I don't. I don't actually do my own feed. That's just the truth. You said 1 month from fingerling can wait for. Go and check my Facebook. I posted it there. It's not me. I'm not even the one who achieved the 400 grams. It's someone else. He bought that fish after 1 month. It's on my Facebook. And why I now know I confirm the authenticity of what he sent to me is that the guy that supplied the fish to him was somebody I recommend. Just as we are talking like this, he chatted me and asked me that he wanted to buy fish. I sent him my own person that supplies me. Said, go and buy from him. So when he sent me the video, I called that person to confirm when did this guy buy the fish from you. He gave me the date. He rhymed with what this guy was saying. I posted it on Facebook. What people don't understand is that most videos I post on Facebook, I actually try to do some my own research on it to be sure. Because I don't like misleading people for anything. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to benefit anything. So what's the point? So he got it 400. Yes, go to the Facebook and check. I think it was last week or so I posted it. The guy achieved it and he put it on the scale, and the scale was the video that I did for everybody to see. So it's there. In a new stock juvenile, I noticed the skin color change with whitish part notice on the body. Please, what can I do and what's the cost? Now, okay, 1 second. Yeah, good evening. So I don't train people on feed production because myself, I don't do feed production. And I have explained the reason why. If you want to produce your own feed, what's your page on Facebook? The same name on TikTok here, Let Us Farm, LETUSFARM. So if you actually want to produce your own feed, yourself. The truth is that if you use everything a company uses to do it, your own will be more expensive. And this is what, when I say people say it's not possible, it's a lie, but it's the truth. The reason is that company buy these things in quantity. Now, there's a secret in farming that most people don't understand, especially people that do cash crop. They know about it. So most farmers you see don't have money to do large scale farming. Most farmers don't have money for that. And most farmers don't have collateral and are not willing to go to banks to borrow. So what some of them do is that they find companies that buy their produce, like guys in the north, they get companies that buy their produce and say, hey, advance me money so that when I produce, you buy from me. Now, these companies are also smart. They now come, they bargain with you how much they're going to buy from you. So you say, okay, give me the money. They give you the money. So by the time you now produce those things, you still sell to them at that rate because it was signed and dotted. But me now, if I want to buy now, I will go now and price, and they give me prevailing prices. Remember, the one they sell to me is the one they use in making profit. The one they sell to the company is the one they use in doing the business. So you see, the one they sell to me is now going to be more expensive than the one they sold to the company. I've tried it before. I have done, because I also do poultry farming. So I was also milling my poultry feed. But at the long run, I discovered that these things were not working. The stress of milling, plus at the end of the day, you don't get that desired result. Now, if you say, okay, no, that you can do some things to make it cheaper, what you do is you reduce the ingredient. But if you reduce the ingredient, the result, the outcome of your fish, makes you to look funny at the end of the day. So that's it. The color of your fish skin changing. There was something I said before about that. Now, there are reasons why your skin color of your fishes change. One, it could be because of where you brought them. So, fishes a little similar to chameleon. If you stock them in a whitish container, so you discover that somehow they are going to take the color of that container that you stocked them. Yeah, they will take it. Then with time, they will now change color depending on the environment they find themselves. Like a container that is white, when it's growing and it has spirogyra and the whole container, changing the color of that container. What happens is that that fish also changes their color. They become darkened up. Then another thing that makes them to change color could be the brood stock that they use to hatch those fishes. So if the brood stock is the parents that give birth to them, but in fish you hatch, they don't give birth. So a better understanding, that's why I said give birth for you to understand. So the male and female, I don't know the color of what the male and female looks like. So you don't know the color. It's only the guy that hatches it that knows the color. So these things can actually also contribute. I said this thing before. Just like you give birth to a child, the child is always fair in color. When the child is now growing, it takes either the mother or the father's color, or both join together. Then another thing that could cause it is if you overstock. But what this one does is that you see like a white patch at the center of your fish head. It's on the head. You see like patches, white patches. Just know that you overstock and look for a way to reduce the number in the pond, and everything will get back to normal. But all those patches, they are overstocking, and so they are hitting themselves, and that's why you see those particular thing. Yeah, good evening. How is everything? So, like I was saying, I hope that answers your question. But if not, let me know so that I can. So, like I was saying, this you can actually use those Nigerian produced, feed from that 2 months. That after doing the 1.8 for 2 weeks, you move to 2 mm. So you carry on with that till you sell. It's not a must that you put the foreign. No, it's not a must. These are the questions I get every time. It's not a must. Now, what happens is that keep on feeding them 2 mm. When you are feeding them, it gives them balanced growth, because some of the fishes, they are slow, so they don't eat when others are eating. So those ones, they try, it takes their time for them to grow. Now from 2 mm, go to 3 mm. But before you go, you have to feed them 2 mm until the last day of their second month. First day of their third month, move to 3 mm. Now, some people tell me that, oh, 2 mm feed is very expensive, 4 mm is cheaper. The question I ask you is, did you not ask for what is the cost? How much are you going to use to do your feed production? Most people that ask me, what I tell you is, I will tell you, you need 100 bags, 108 bags of feed to do 1,000 fishes to get to 1 kg. But you may not finish it depending. Okay. So you may not finish it depending on if they get to the size that you wish to sell, you can stop. But budget that money. When I tell you this, what I tell you to do is just go to market, price feed, and multiply. Keep the money in I never even said, hey, bring that money, let me help you and keep. Why would I do that? Keep that money with you. You can decide to fix it. You can decide to go to the people that sell feed and pay part of the money to them and say, hey, I'll be carrying the feed. I don't want to spend the money. Excellent idea. So if you have done this, you can't come and tell me that the feed is expensive. No. You already knew what this thing is going to take. The problem is that most of us would like to deceive ourselves. Somebody was challenging me that I said that maggots don't reduce cost of feeding. Maggot reduces cost of. I said, okay, I can't argue with you because that is what you said. No, what matters in catfish business is, are you growing? If you produce 1,000 fishes every time and you make less than 20,000, 50,000, even 100,000 as profit, you are not doing anything. No, you are wasting your time. Aggregate the money you are making into the months of production. You see that you're not paying yourself up to 10,000 naira. Is this how you are going to survive in this life? Is this how you are going to manage the family? You will see that it's practically waste of time. So you must be able to give value to this thing to come out. Yes, fish feed is expensive, but fish itself is expensive. When I started catfish, we are selling 1 kilo of fish, 1 kg and above, less than 500 naira then. And then a bag of feed was about, I think, 2008 or 3000. Then, now compare the what we are selling to what we are selling now. With 3000 plus on a kg of feed and a bag of feed, how much? Complete. You will see that it's a constant inflation and a lot of disaster, which is not of what I care about, because when these things happen, you have to, as a farmer, develop a means for you to be able to survive it. And how do you develop the means? It's for you to understand the craft, the business you are doing, and be able to tailor that business to give you proper. If you start complaining that why you are not going anywhere. Sir, can I start with skirting 1 mm, don't move to 1.8 or 2 mm? I don't want you to start with 1 mm. 1 mm is given at fry level. Fries is when they hatch the fish, they are fries. So that is what they give the fish. So when you are giving that fish, which you bought at juvenile, 1 mm, to you now, it's going to be more expensive and the feed will be very small for what they will be picking at that time. So instead of 1 mm, go to 1.5. From 1.5, you can move to 1.8. If not, go to 1.8 to 2 mm and then go on. You get it? Alex, why do a lot of fish farmers shut down their farm and run out of business within 2 to 5 years? That is what I am answering now. Ignorance. I too know. I've been like you now say 2 to 5 years, but me, I don't top and 17 on top, they go. And I'm not shut down. Instead, I'm growing and expanding in the business. One secret is ignorance. You are telling somebody that this will not work. He's telling you that it's going to work. Like I just gave an example. You are producing 1,000 fishes, and at the end of the day, you are making less than 50,000. You are wasting your time. You are making a loss because if you divide 50,000 in 5 months, 4.5, 5 months that you take to do the production, it means you are making less than 10,000 a month. Can you actually feed yourself 10,000 naira in a month? You see, it's not possible, and there's no way that business will ever grow. Instead, you keep borrowing money to put in the business, and it's going down. This is a simple thing. That's why me, whenever I'm talking, I talk with confidence because number one is that I don't have anything to benefit whether you do it or you don't do it. No, if you do it, it's your own benefit. Only thing I benefit is that I tell people that I heard from this guy and it worked. That's just it. So if I was interested in, I wanted to like build this for you. That's when I will be giving you sweet talk. But I don't care about the sweet talk. As a matter of fact, because of this being online, I have had proposals from people abroad for me to construct their farm. But when I look at most of the proposals, I refuse. Because some wants me to go and build housing. I have said it. Go and check. There is no catfish farm that is built under housing that has lasted long that is making it. It's a very simple thing. If you want to do catfish business and you have money, and somebody is telling you that you have to construct one mighty house and they have the catfish inside, I don't like to do this, but sometimes, things make you to say things that naturally I avoid. I'm telling you that that thing is a complete waste of time and it's a waste of money. The building doesn't make your catfishes grow. The building is a hindrance to your catfish. Yes, the first time you do it, your fishes will do well. But when you do it constantly, the fishes will start dying. One of the reasons why they die is that anytime you are raising any animal husbandry, when you raise them in that place, there are always things that hang on that building. So these things, they come to feed on your fishes, on the water. They are germs, they are parasites, they are infectious. So they stay on that building. Now, they stay on the building. So as you keep on doing it, they come down to the pond and start affecting your production. This is number one. Number two, your catfishes need sunshine. This building, no matter even if they put reflective zinc and all these things, reduces the amount of sunshine that your catfish gets. Most of us did agric in school and heard of photosynthesis, but we never understand that even animals also need it. You don't know. When you travel abroad, there are some countries abroad that have low sun and have most of the times winter. Do you know that they go to hospital, they go to pharmacy to buy vitamin D? They need the sunshine. So they still buy these drugs for them to have it so that they don't break down. Why do you think that during July, August time, September, you see many whites coming down to Africa? Do you think because Africa is the best place? No. They come, most of them take those times for vacation and come for the sun. You see a white person wear very short things and you see them moving on the street. You'll be wondering, what's this guy doing? He is taking the sun because he needs it. But we don't know. And instead of us to always ask questions, we do the opposite. So you see people spending millions, but unfortunately, it doesn't last. After 1 or 2 years, they now tell you, oh, my workers don't know how to do it. The consultant said he's busy. It's not that he's busy, but at that time, the main thing that he came to do, he has already achieved it by doing the contract of the building and setting you up. So he has made his money. Now, coming to always take care of the treatment, he doesn't make much money from this. So that time he has to be busy because that particular, is already, I mean, this is it. So you don't need, the reason why people collapse is what I have explained. Ignorance, lack of knowledge, and many catfish farmers are stubborn. They don't want to hear. Once you tell them that thing that is not sweet, they will not agree. Somebody came, sent me a message. They was having problems in the farm. A lady, she was like, "Oh, she's losing money. She has invested millions. I am losing money." And I said, "You know what you will do? Okay, send me a video of this thing." She sent me the video. So I now told her that, you see, one of the problems of these fishes is overstocking. So I now told her, okay, I want you to find out from your people the real situation of things. What have they been feeding these fishes? That I've seen some problems in this farm, but I want your people to tell you, you let me know. Then I can be able to give you the full lowdown of what you will do. Now, I just finished speaking with her. So the next day in the morning, I posted the same video on Facebook and said, look at the situation that the farmer is going through. Even though I have started trying to solve this problem, but just imagine what is going on for a very simple mistake. So people started like giving her advice. Next thing I saw, this lady was now, the sweet advice that people were giving. Use this, it will work. Use this, it will work. She was referring to those things. Oh, ha, hey, hey. Now, to get back to me, she didn't. I kept quiet. Then what happened? After 2 weeks, all those things, because it's a simple question and I want to put you through, you don't need to spend money. He now came again. Oh, that he has lost everything. I said, well, go back and you can pick it up from where you stop. Because there's no point. Because I know I talk to you free. So you think that I am stupid. Just imagine. Go back to the same people and get the advice, because after people finish talking, I now have to start correcting these errors. But those things I was saying, he doesn't want to see it. Is that one that he already believes that he have in the head? Bam, he don't move. This is the greatest challenge. And this is why you see many farmers failing. They will never hear. You tell somebody that overstocking problem can only be solved by creating more space. You say, oh, okay. It goes to another person says, no, 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 just go and buy antibiotics and give them, it'll be fine. It doesn't, you see that one you said space, he doesn't want to hear it. He wants to go and do the antibiotics. And as he's doing the antibiotics, they are dying, they are dying, they are dying, they are dying. Then he'll be asking you, what's happening now? He says, no, but he will change, you keep on changing the antibiotics. So within 2 weeks, let's say you stock 500, and I said, get another pond or get another space and sort it out. He goes to buy the antibiotics. Now he has bought antibiotics within 2 weeks and they keep dying. What that person doesn't know is that, let's say he had 800 fishes. Within that time, he may have lost 300 fishes. And then you now get to the pond and they stop dying. And you say, oh, this thing work. What you never knew is that naturally the fishes have killed themselves. How? They died and created space. So the ones that are there will not be okay to survive. Then when they survive for another 1 month or 6 weeks, they start dying again. The person will say, what is going on? He will go and start buying another drugs to solve that problem. When he now buy drugs for another 2 weeks, another set must have wasted. They will stop again. Then he will not tell me that I used that drug then, it worked, and later on they continue dying. But the simple thing was get another pond, create space. They will not die. And when they don't die, you have your numbers. But no, because of that thing I said, catfish farmer, he just stubborn for nothing. He don't want to hear that. He prefers the drug. And at the end of the day, that same space he would have provided, the catfishes on their own naturally provided the space by dying. And then he thinks that it is the drug that is helping. That's why somebody will tell you that I stock 1,000, but when I went to sell, I only met 300. What happened to the remaining one? I don't know. You see, that is the problem of why most catfish farmers fail. Now, back to our feed. You are now on 2 mm. First day of your third month, move to 3 mm. Like I said, middle of that third month, if you measure some of those fishes, if you are feeding them to satisfaction, you discover that you now have, 1 kg on some of the fishes. If it is possible for you, always sort your fishes every month. So by that time, you can sort your fishes. Those ones that are looking like almost double the size of others, those ones that are up to 1 kg, you can start placing them on that 4.5 mm. By that 3.5 months, not 3 months. Then when every other one gets to 4 months, then you can now put every one of them on 4 mm. If you get to the 5th month, still stay on your 4.5 mm. Sort the fishes. The smaller ones should be there on the 4.5 mm. The bigger ones, move them to 6 mm. This is how you climb the ladder. Now, this thing I said now, what is the impact on your fishes? Because I'm going to somewhere for you to understand where all these things are going to. So if you have done it this way, by the time you want to sell your fishes, what you now discover is that your fishes would now have a rhyming weight gain. You have like 90 to 95% same weight. Not that they will be the same dot. They can be like 1.2. So you are meeting like 90 to 95% at 1.2 kg at 4.5 months. That's 4.5 months. When you sell it, you make a very good profit because you have less than 10% that are weighing below 1 kg. But that person that was jumping from feed size because my 2 mm is too expensive, you switch to 4 mm. 4 mm is too expensive, I heard that 6 mm is cheaper, you switch to 6 mm. When the person wants to sell, he may have only 20% at 1 kg. Now, what these people don't tell you is by the time they sell it, what is the profit? So you now see that only 20% cannot give you the profit you are looking for, even though you have sold the fishes. But the profit that will make the business to grow, you lack it. So why did you now do the business? Not. So this is how people fail in catfish farming. You know, and that's why when you come online, you see people are trying to do a lot of things. I encourage everybody to try the business. But what I encourage you to do is to try and follow some of these steps. It will help you. You don't need to stock 10,000 fishes to brag, tell people that I stocked 10,000 fishes. It doesn't count. What counts is that you stock 500 fishes and you're able to move from 500 to 1,000. But if you stock 500 pieces and you can't move forward because you don't have money, instead you are going back, the business will be for you. So this is how you can run a very successful catfish farming business without any troubles. Now, I posted and I asked for people that want to buy fish. Like I said, I don't hash. Reason is that hashing is tedious. But most of us, we don't understand it. Okay. Now, it is true that most people that hash fish, they actually, try a lot of shortcuts to make more money. But like I always say, because I like to be fair to everybody, sometimes it is we that make them do that. Fish that is supposed to be selling at um $65. So normally, if you want to price, you can price 50 or 55. But somebody is calling you saying, "Hey, I want to buy 10,000. Give it to me at $30." Most people know it's not possible. But what some people don't know is that they believe that catfish hatching is just you bring the male, you bring the female, you inject the female, and then you cross the egg, and then that hatches the fishes. But there is more to hatching than that. One, there are so many people that hatch fish. In the room they are using to hatch fish, your generator is going to run for 24 hours because once the lights drop, the gen is on. You don't want a situation that you hatch your fishes, they turn as mold. And when they turn as mold, most of them will die. Then most of them may not die. When you sell it to people, they will start dying. So you want to keep them at a steady temperature. You want to make sure that your water purification inside the pond is running 24 hours. These things cost money. You see them buying all kind of manner of chlorophynical, this and that, putting in the water just to keep the catfishes alive. These things are accumulated as cash. Haven't you ever asked yourself why is it that people that hatch fish, most of them are not billionaires by now? As a matter of fact, I know people that used to hatch fish before. They were doing only hatching. As of today, they are not hatching again. What they do today is buying and selling. What is buying and selling? They come to your farm, they buy your fish, they go and supply to hotels. That's what they do. When you ask them, they will tell you, no, 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 no. I'm not always in the hatchery. These boys want to kill me. And it's stressful. So that's why I said, me, I don't hash. But if you want somebody that hash, I give it the person that hash for me, discuss with the person. Only tell me if you need anything from me, and which I'm always ready to help when it is possible. Because when you talk about help, I'm more help plenty these days. So if it is possible, I'll always try my best to assist in any possible way to help anybody. That is the major problem. Now, some people ask me if I know the current kg of what they sell small fish. Please, I don't know. I don't sell small fish. So I only sell it on demand. And when I sell on demand, I always use the prevailing market. So I never sold dried fish. I think I did it once when I was having issues. I just sold how to dry those fish and sell. So that is why I don't know. Most of these things you can actually go to where it is sold and find out how much all these things are sold so that you have a better comparison when doing things with other people. Do we have any questions for me today? before I will call it a day because I got some calls coming in on my phone. I know I need to help out and do some certain things in the that's the calls I'm getting. So please, if you have any questions, drop it for me. Let me be able to like ask you before I go. Answer the question before I go. So please, what's the cost of juvenile at your location? Like I said, if you are buying Clarias, it's 65, 60, 65, 70 bucks. That's what people sell. Oh. So you like I said, you can actually negotiate. It's not bad. But if you are negotiating, please try to be human in negotiation. I'm not citing people that has fish, oh, but I just have to tell you the reality. It's not as easy as many people make it look like. When I go on the internet, people just cover their eyes, say, "Oh, it's easy," blah blah blah. It's not that easy. Oh. You can hatch fish, and those fishes will never grow. Yeah, if you don't do it well, they will be run from the day one. So that is what it's sold in my area. I don't know about every other place, but that's what it's sold. So everything changes with time. Just like I said, 1 kg and above fish in my area, depending on who is selling. Some people sell 3,200 per kilo, some sell 3,000, some sell 3,100. And I have seen somebody that sold 3,500. But like I said, I don't know how much every other person sells. Then when it is below 1 kg, some sell 2,300, 2,400. Now, many people ask me why this price disparity. That is how I make the business, and technically, I cannot change it because these things sometimes is the influence of the buyers at the end. Remember, if you produce and you cannot sell, now very big big. I watched the video. It is from juvenile to 1 month and 1 week. This is what we are saying now. Is that not what I said? So that I told you now, and I posted the video now. It's from juvenile to 1 month and 1 week, and it got 400. So you can, it's just for you to understand that, it's not like I did it, but that's what he did. So, so please, always try to verify how much these things are sold in your area. Like I said in a video that I did, please, when you want to sell your fish, there are some people that come and they are agents. Agents are good, they are bad though. But you see these people that will tell you that you should leave your farm so that they will help you and sell and bring money to you. From me to you, please run away. Run away. It's not always the best. They will tell you that they know these buyers and these buyers want to see only them in your farm. The problem about this is that you wouldn't know exactly how many fishes we are sold, how much we are sold, how much these buyers are owing you. You don't know. It's that person that is agent that only knows. And he's going to tell you that don't worry, I will help you and collect the money. How much is this agent going to collect? You don't know. And sometimes they will tell you they will collect the money only when you want to sell the next time. So, it's your choice. I don't necessarily put my mouth in all these things, but I have to tell you for you to understand that, this is some tricks that people use. So, you're asking of fingerlings. So, for fingerlings, minus 2 weeks from what you saw there. Because, sorry, please. This is 1 month and 1 week, and it was at 400 gram. So at fingerlings, just do your own to be plus and minus 300 gram. If you can do that, that means you are doing very well. Because if you got it at juvenile at 6 weeks on them, yeah, from juvenile, you got it at 400. So minus the 2 weeks and then put your own at 300 gram and let us see. If you can achieve that, that means it's very okay. But if you're 100 gram, it's not okay at all. 100 grams should be the ones that are not doing well at that particular set. That's correct. So that's it. So, like I said, catfish farming, it's a very One thing about catfish farming, like when people ask me, they ask me to compare both catfish farming and poultry farming. These two farming businesses, they have their own challenges, they have their own ups and downs. But one thing I can tell you is this: in catfish farming, it's easier to have time for yourself than in poultry farming. I have a poultry farm, very big poultry farm, not a small poultry farm, and I have very large catfish farm. But I have more time on my catfish farm than on my poultry farm, because mostly poultry farm it's like almost a 24 hours consultation to know what's going on. Like on my phone, every time I'm always watching the farm. Either I go on my live cam to see what's going on, or I'm asking, do you have this problem? Every time I'm always trying to like communicate with people in the farm. But fish, it gives you more time to do other things, because catfishes they don't even disturb you. Feed them very well twice a day, and that's it. They don't care. But you see birds, oh. so so I've noticed a serious issue in my area. All barbecue and pepper soup sellers around here only buy catfishes between 900 grams and 1 kg. Anything above that, even if it's 1.2, they completely reject it. Good. Now let me tell you what you don't understand. You you have you have um you have business opportunity in your hand, but you don't know. Now, like I said, in catfish business, the bigger they are, the more profit you make. So it simply means that if you sell very big fishes, you make more money than a person that sells um, small fishes. But there is a caveat to this particular theory. Every level that you are, make the best use of that level. Now, what it simply means is that if you are selling small fish, sell small fishes that are the highest size of the small fishes. Does it make sense? Okay, if you're selling below 1 kg, for me, sell 900, 800 grams. You make more money than that person selling 500 grams. Now, in your area, you said the fishes, they only buy 900 grams and 1 kg. If I was you, if I were in your situation, all you need to do is target your production to be 3.5 months from juvenile. Feed them very well to be 3.5 months from juvenile. By 3.5 months, sort your fishes, the one that are 1 kg, start selling it to them. Oh, yes. The ones that are 1 kg, start selling it to them. The remaining one, highest in a week or two, they get to that level. You sell it off. So you don't stay long, but you achieve the same. You get it? So if you want to make profit, just target this thing. Don't. So what it simply means is that since they are buying 900, 1,000, right? Stock from juvenile, target to do a very good feeding at 3.5 months, you sell out the fish. Because at 3.5 months, you're supposed to get to 1 kg. And then very few will be on 800, 900 if you actually fed well. And you sell it and you make your good profit. That's the best way to, because now you have established that you have customers. The only problem is if you have not established that you have customers, that's the problem. You will still make profit margin in the situation, very good profit margin. I'm telling you, 100% guaranteed. You already established that you have customers, but what if you did not establish that you have customers? That's why it's always good to go out and verify. I always say it. Me, I don't sell small fish. I only sell it on demand because there's no gain in selling 500, 600 grams. In fact, I was telling somebody here on I think on Facebook, he was telling me that he has customers that only prefer to buy 250 grams. And I told him, if you sell 250 grams, you will never make any profit. The only way you make profit on 250 grams is that at 250 grams, use your hand to roast the fish and sell it to the end users. That's the only way you make profit. But if somebody is coming to pack it from you at 250 grams, it's a loss. I don't even need to tell you how to feed, but it's a loss. Practical loss. Your fishes will always get to 500 grams before you break even of making profits. So from 500 grams, you now start making profit anything on top. But once you sell below that, that's a loss. Because at that time, the fishes, their conversion rate to energy is very low. So what they eat at that time doesn't really convert to the energy. So the weight gain that time is not the best compared to the food conversion rate. So that's why I said that, because it's something that I've seen over time. So, but when they cross 500 gram, oh, the thing now starts increasing. So at that period, everything starts going up. That's why I tell you that don't sell below that. Oh, but then again, that's it. So I once again say thank you to all of you who has been able to join today. Those people that asked me questions, I'm grateful I can be able to, answer all your questions. But if you still have any question that I was not able to answer you now, all you can do is, send these questions to 081 353 48909. Please send this question as a WhatsApp only. Don't be sending me text message. I will not reply your text message. Oh. Please don't be offended. I have been receiving text messages. I say, I don't know why people have moved from WhatsApp to text. I don't know. I said send it on WhatsApp. That's the only time you'll be able to get replies from me, please. And like I said, I beg you, do not bother calling me on my line. Reason is that as you are busy, so am I times three. But when I come back from that my busy assignment, I go to my WhatsApp. So I'm able to go through all the messages I get and I reply them. I reply all my messages. I don't reply immediately, but sometimes I do immediately, depending on what I'm. If I'm replying messages and you send immediately, I reply immediately. But if it's not there, then I will be able to come back and reply everybody. I can always do the best I can, but limitations are there. So please, if you have any other questions you want to ask me, send it to 081 353 48909. Remember, everything we do here is completely free of charge. So next time, hopefully, I'll be able to fix another lesson so that I'll have a chat. What are you saying? Two PVC cylindrical of 800 and 1,200 liters. Your pond, how do you measure it to know it's 4,700 liters? It's a concrete pond. Now, what you will do for me is, please, I would like to see a picture or video of these three ponds you mentioned. You have two PVC cylindrical tanks of 800 and 1,200 liters. Now, the reason I cannot give you a quote and an answer for this is that, one, like I said, I need your measurements, your length, width, and depth. So when you say the tanks are cylindrical, meaning that they are round, the problem is that some tanks can be narrow and some are wide, even though they will still give you 800 liters and 1,200 liters. But when I see it, that's when I will now understand exactly the position of the tank. Reason is that your catfishes, what they need mostly is, one, the size. They don't need the narrow one that goes up like that. It's useless because at the end of the day, you have to cut the tank. Catfishes cannot swim as sharks. Sharks can go like 12 feet and catfishes cannot do that. So they don't even need that height. So I like to see it, then assess how, after cutting, what will the tank still be up to carry. And remember, for a quick one, anyone who is trying to use 1,000 white liter chemical tank, I have always maintained, is 50 fishes from juvenile to 1 kg above. Please. So don't start telling me that, oh, like somebody was telling me last time, oh, I want to put 70. I said 50. So if you go above that, don't expect to see that wonderful result. And if you go below 50, your fishes will be bigger than the person that stocked 50. That's correct. So, like I said, if you have any other question, kindly drop those questions to 081 353 48909, and I will be able to pick it up from there. So until I come your way next time, thank you very much for staying with me today and love to see you next time. Bye.